just never ever gives up.
He really doesn't take no for an answer.
And it may be 1 a.m. in the morning you get an email from him and he's come up with 1 or 2 solutions.
He is the guy behind the scenes that is making it all work.
And George has been phenomenal and unstoppable in his commitment.
He's making sure that we're all moving forward, everyone's happy, and we're going to be successful.
I've known George for 35 years or more.
I met George 24 years ago.
First got to know him when he was a young lawyer at Latham & Watkins.
Well, I have known George for probably 30 years.
And we continue to work together now that I'm here at Caruso.
Was very fortunate to go and work with George at Latham & Watkins.
Everyone always says, wow, George Mihlsten. I mean, he is an amazing person with a big heart and the best in the business.
He has worked on most high-profile developments in Southern California.
It's interesting, when you're a planning deputy at City Hall, you get a whole range of people that come into your office with either for or against particular land use projects.
He has to get approvals and persuade people on the other side of the table who don't share that view.
George could be the poster child for Coro, I think.
What comes to mind is the importance of integrity and respect for differing viewpoints. And those are also key to George in his way he approaches his professional life.
Coro is all about inspiring young people to not only be idealistic about things, but also how to get things done. What's the pragmatic aspect of idealism?
He wants to understand all of the various perspectives in City Hall, from the electives to every single staff member that touches a project.
Ideals are great if you can execute some of them. If you can't execute them, they're just words. George translates idealism into action.
He knows his stuff, and he comes to the work with such passion and commitment and empathy and care.
I think the image of George is that he's this tough land use attorney, all work, all business.
He's also a latent cowboy. I think he likes to channel his Texas upbringing a little bit.
But behind all of that, if you talk about his family, Nola and the kids, and if you talk about your family, he just turns into this softie.
He's a good man. He's a solid citizen.
I mean, I hardly see his family, but I always know what's going on in their lives. And by the way, Eric, congratulations on your engagement. Your dad is super excited about the wedding coming up.
He's a civic leader. I mean, he's interested in politics. He's a latent policy wonk.
His retirement plan is to be a physicist. He wants to, believe it or not, he wants to have that second career, and knowing George, he already has his acceptance strategy.
But of course, George comes on his own all the way to the west side, to Venice, to meet with me directly and to figure out how we're going to handle the noise issue that we've been facing, impacting some of our neighbors.
Let me just preface this by saying George is such a committed family man and loves his family and Nola, and they are absolutely most important to him. But having said that, we all know that George is a workaholic.
As we walk the community, walk the neighborhood.
But you always know that if he's going to go on vacation, you're probably going to get a phone call.
And then, again, like George, would do, he says, hey, I'll be right back.
So, for instance, when he's skiing, we know that he'll always have his phone on vibrate in his ski boot so that he can take the phone call even when he's out on the slopes.
I went out to the back area of our child care and I looked up, and George is on the balcony of one of our neighbors, listening in, partnering with them, showing how much he cares, and then, in that process, getting them to understand how much St. Joseph Center cared.
He's very professional. He's forgotten more about land use than most land use experts will ever know.
I have sat on both sides of the table from George Mihlsten. I've been on the opposite side from him. I've sat on his side as a colleague or as a client. All were great experiences, but I would always choose to be on the same side of the table as George.
If he can take issues off the table, he can get to yes. I guess if there's one thing I would say about George is he knows how to get to yes.
George, I just want to congratulate you on this amazing honor. You are so deserving. You are someone that I look up to. I greatly appreciate everything that you've done for St. Joseph Center.
Someone who has made a difference not only to his profession and to his clients, but more importantly, from my point of view, he's made a difference to the civic texture of Los Angeles and Southern California. And Los Angeles is a better place for having George and Nola Mihlsten as part of this community.
You have been a true friend and such a valued mentor to me through all these years that we've known each other.
So I can't thank you enough, and I just want to congratulate you and say job well done.
George, congratulations on this singular award. You deserve it, and I value you as a friend.
I've learned so much from you, and I'm so thrilled that Coro is recognizing you in this way. Congratulations.